still blast off. Watch them all fall. This is AFC North talk. Got me hype, it's about to be a touchdown. Got the Ravens, Steelers, Bengals, and the Browns. Are you listening? It's time to get it hype. Tune in when the season poppin'. Yeah, we going live. Hey, knock them out. Hey, first down, going hard. Yes, indeed. AFC North talk. Let's go. Hey, AFC North talk.
Welcome to another edition of AFC North Talk presented by Caldera Labs. We're going to be talking about them a little bit later. By the way, shout out to the AFC North Talk fan that I met in Home Depot, actually a Home Depot employee. He helped me a lot. Appreciate that, bro. I can't remember your name, but you know,
surprised that you found a fan of ours at the Home Depot. You know,
he helped me as I'm doing all these projects. He helped me a lot. So appreciate that. On the local Home Depot.
Shout out to the Steel Toe Squad.
By the way, he had a lot of good things to say about all of y'all.
Mm.
Now, he did say one of y'all's a troll. I'm not going to say who.
Oh, yeah.
You can imagine.
Who was it, me or was it Guru?
No, he appreciated, by the way, he appreciated Guru's take last week on the Ravens game. You know, the score prediction
42-14.
Yeah. He appreciate that. He said, like, you know what?
Guru, it's all right, dog. I started off my AFC North Talk career talk about Kyler Murray gonna be better than Lamar Jackson. So look, man, sometimes your first one don't make it, you know.
Hey, sometimes you learn the hard way.
Yeah.
I see you're here with us.
Yeah, get the reps in.
There's a lot of kinks here that we had done. We all have it. We all had done boo-boos. We all have takes that we wish like they weren't out there, but you know.
Has Ace had one?
Ace?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to remember. Has Ace had a tremendous L like he has to take it? Because he has done a good job of when he does take this, he finds a way to make somebody attach onto it and go that extra level, so he ends up not being the one we remember with
he
the
sounds
tank.
reasonable. He's modern.
I would say the Steelers are going to win 4 games. That
was bad. But I guess Panay wasn't going to end up being bad because Panay was good, right?
Yeah.
Panay was. So it's like you would have been fine either way, but man.
That was the steak dinner bet. I remember.
That's nasty, Ace. That's nasty.
Okay, so we had 2 super chats. A couple of the Deshaun Watson one. The second one I'm not gonna read. By the way, hello for Rio. We don't want the whole massage thing, jokes. We appreciate the super chat, but we don't want to go down that road. But Elite Dragon here, Deshaun Watson, who sat out 2 years, not wanting to play. Shocker, and this comes from the interview that he talked to some reporter. Was it yesterday, right, Q?
Mm-hmm.
That he said the people talking that he doesn't want to play is crazy. This is not their quote, but phrasing. This is the game that he loved for I don't know how many since he was a kid, and he has been working for 2 years for this. So saying that he doesn't want to play is crazy.
Yeah, all we want to do is see him play football.
Yeah. And then we're done with this topic, right? That's all.
I mean, then we can evaluate whether he's good or not. Like, we ain't even got to that point yet, which I think is most people's frustration. Is like, can we figure out what this is going to be? Like Russ, at least in Denver, they know what it is with Russ, and they've tried to like build solutions around it. And you can argue that they've doubled down in ways that made them worse. But yeah, we just want to figure out, okay, what is it? Are we going to be sitting here talking about 2020 for the rest of our lives with him, or is it going to be something where he's going to play somewhere comparable to that in the future? But you know, we ain't even got to that point yet. So yeah, we just want to watch him play, and all this stuff will go away if he starts playing consistently. But until then, man, this is going to be questions on top of questions.
Okay, and then Nova Stone here says Raven had the most sack with the worst edge and D line. I'll paraphrase this. Yes, on the edges, there's not even question, right? Like rankings has like 3 years in a row defending 4th place champions here. On the D line,
Ravens ahead of a strategy. Are edge rushers not important? You know, like, is this the Ravens running backs don't matter stance?
I don't know, man. We'll see what they do in the trade deadline, right? But the one thing is they don't blitz as much as they used to for the amount of sack, but when they blitz, they always get to the quarterback. So they pick their spots well. And the D-line, the interior D-line is actually it's weird because on the running game, I think that the interior D-line is not playing as good as they should, but the edges are not setting the edge. On the passing side, though, that D-line is coming in hot for those quarterbacks. So it's a mixed bag. But in the case of sacks, that D-line is actually playing above of my expectations. On the running side is where, in my opinion, they're lacking a little bit.
Is a lead in sack getter, an edge rusher, or is it a D tackle or a linebacker?
Who?
You're leading.
Maravik is up there, but he's an interior DN. The edges are not. The edges, I mean, Clowney had 2 sacks, and he might be leading the edges, or maybe 3. I don't know. And then we have some corners and safeties.
Yeah, Matabuke at 5.5, and then just Jadavion at 3.5, tied with Pat Queen.
Yeah,
and if y'all remember, I put it out there. I said the Pat Queen and Roquan gonna have more sacks than Jadavion, and who did I throw in there? Odafe?
You said that both. I think.
Yeah, I put them in a 2-pack combined, and right now,
you say Ojabo and Owe.
I might win that 2-pack challenge. I might win that 2-pack challenge.
Ojabo's not even playing right now.
Yeah, so. Roquan Smith at 1.5. Odafe's at 1. So
yeah. Pat Queen is used mostly for blitzing, and the Roquan blitzes, but not as much as Pat Queen. Vinny here says, Ace, what do y'all feel? What do you feel like after that?
Why y'all gonna do that to him? What do you do to deserve this?
Wait, why 15? That's way back.
You know what happened in 2015.
We went to the Super Bowl in 2021. That made 2015 irrelevant. Like, that was a team that we thought could go to the Super Bowl, but they didn't. Obviously, that was a disappointing game. But after you get Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, I don't think we're crying over Andy Dalton anymore.
Damn, this is like way back. Like
this is before Antonio Brown was known for all the things that Antonio Brown is known for.
I wonder. So he has to be a Steeler fan, right? Like, right?
Probably.
Steeler fans usually hang out in the past. It's usually how that goes,
Ravens Nation, he said, y'all see Dame last night? I just saw he went off. I didn't see the game actually. Guru, I know you in the NBA studios. You saw that game?
Yeah, I did. I was off last night. Just quickly, I'm just gonna tell you the effect of Dame. The Adrian Griffin, they ran a high screen 4 consecutive plays, and Dame scored. Dame 3, Dame foul shot, and then I believe 14 free throw attempts. Whenever Chris Middleton now is the number 4 player on your team, in terms of the options, it's just shows you how deep they are. And the unique thing about the Bucks is, I want to just show you something very small. Giannis went off the court. Giannis impleaded that, Adrian Griffin, why are you taking me out? The coach put him right back out there. So those 2 nonsenses, I want you to remember that's what it takes for a team that has 2 superstars, but most of all, the coach is able to increase his ego to make sure that those superstars are happy. I was very impressed with the Bucks opening game.
I was watching them and I was watching Boston, and you see some of the names on both of those teams, and you're like, oh, they're gearing up for war.
Yeah.
Collision course.
Oh shit, Chris, I forgot.
It's gonna be good games. Though, I think what the smart thing that you do with Giannis, which is this thing that the Lakers have been trying for years. I don't know how much success they have, is surround him with shooters, right? Because Giannis, he is unselfish in the way that he passes the ball, but he's a force inside, right? So you don't want that lane to be clogged. You want that lane to be open. So when he drives, it's just him, or he can kick out. So he can shooter is there to knock down that 3 or the lead 2. Q, what are the odds that Miles stood up for the Cavs?
Hey, he has a jersey for sale at Cavs.com. He is a minority owner of the organization.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, he just finalized that this week. I don't think it's a coincidence. Like he capitalized on a very good game and finalized it.
He can be a Ben Wallace type of guy for sure. Like a presence in the middle that he can block shots.
Let's
And
not get carried away. He's still 6'5". That's the NBA. This dude's at 7'4", walking around, dribbling in between their legs, doing fadeaway shots.
Ben Wallace wasn't super tall, right? Isn't
Ben Wallace was 6'6", but nobody was 7'4" when Ben Wallace was in the league.
Well, not with the scales.
It's not even one 7'4" dude. It's like there's Wimby, there's a Chet, there's a bunch of these dudes out there.
Back then,
it was crazy.
It was just Yao.
Yeah, it was like you seven.
Tom Bradley, like that.
It was either you're tall and slow, or like you small, compact, and athletic. Nah, man. LeBron came in there. The league ain't been the same. It's been a bunch of 6'8" athletes just running up and down the court ever since then.
This was a fun story. I was in the elevator at the finals, and Myles Garrett was in there, and I'm just like, "What's up, bro?" He's like, "What's up?" I'm like, "You worried about the Steelers this year?" He didn't even answer me. So.
He was like, "This troll."
He's all right.
He's like, okay.
His head like the elevator's right here. His head's right here. Miami Garrett, all linen. The dude is definitely advertised as a phenom, a guy built in a different planet for sure.
Yeah.
I dapped up Myles Garrett at training camp once. It was like dapping up a brick wall.
Nova still here says Purdy before 1924.
No, Purdy before 2 interceptions after. Is he making excuses for Brock Purdy?
I don't get this one.
I don't understand this. Like 19 from 24, 252, 124 rating.
Oh, he talking about the concussion?
Yeah, maybe he's saying before 924.
Yeah, I think he's saying Brock Purdy got that concussion in the game. Before the concussion, he had these stats, and then after the concussion, he threw 2 interceptions. Maybe the concussion just brought him back to earth. I don't know, man. Come on, it's Brock Purdy. He played 12 games. We don't know who he is yet.
Which team is Gagan? Which team winning is less sustainable, Steelers or Browns?
That's a tough question. I mean, if Deshaun Watson doesn't come back, or if he's out for an extended period of time, I probably would have to lean toward the Browns because the defense is just on the field too much. Now, I think with the Steelers, the issue kind of what H talked about is last week is they showed you that they can count on a game-shifting turnover or a big play. The offense, not just this season, like for the last 3 seasons, the offense has been bad, but the defense hasn't been good enough to overcome the offense woes. I think the defense is good enough, and now you're also seeing the special teams, right? Ravens game, you look at the block punt by Killebrew, you look at the coverage, right, with Presley Harvin being top 3 in net punting. I think they have a little bit more this year. But again, if Deshaun Watson comes back, that answer could change.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see down the line. I think you could get more out of quarterback, whoever's playing right now, than what they have because the situation's been so up and down with the Browns. I think the Browns have a better defense than Pittsburgh, so I would lean towards them because if we're just looking at that sustaining you got to go with the one that you feel like is rolling out better right now. Special teams is kind of a wash right now with how well Dustin Hopkins has been kicking, so I would lean towards that. But it's remarkable what both teams have been able to do. The fact that they're still at the conversation for the top of the division with little to no great quarterback play in there. That's been remarkable. And give credit to Kenny Pickett and PJ Walker, who have found ways to make plays in crunch time to help those teams win games. As much as people may not think that they're the greatest quarterbacks in the world, it takes something to step up in those moments and make some throws that they've made on third down, especially in the fourth quarter. And we've seen quarterbacks who put up good stats. Jacoby Brissett's one of them, but doesn't really show up in those kind of moments.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking about who's going to lose first, I think there's a possibility. Well, actually, it's a toss-up between both of them. But I think if you're talking about sustaining, it might come down to who has the easier schedule in terms of opponents and stuff like that, right? Especially if Deshaun is out. But I expect Deshaun to be back. So I think it's tough between both of these teams. I think with the Steelers, they can force the turnovers, but they do have to get some points. I think that we saw them getting some stability there. We'll have to see if we can depend on that going forward. Somehow they find a way to win. With the Browns, I think it's really tied to Watson, but they've been able, like looking at the splits today, they've been able to score. I don't know how they've been able to do it, but they've been able to score leaning on the run game. So
Kevin, actually respect.
That's a really good question between that one. I don't know. I'm kind of drawn in between on that one. What about you, Sonny?
Yeah, for me. So the thing is, look, the Browns defense, although they have produced turnovers, they're, in my opinion, has been less dependent the team in producing the turnover. And with turnovers, a skill that also takes a little bit of luck with all turnover, right? You bat the ball up, you're hoping your defense reacts, right? You strip sack the quarterback, you're hoping that a D line reacts before the O line to get the ball, right? So there's a certain level of luck, which the Steelers have it so far this year. If for some reason that ball doesn't start bouncing their way, we might be looking into. It might be harder versus the Browns. They produce turnovers too, but they're less reliant. We can talk. Browns basically are on the bad side of the turnover margin for most of every games, and they still find ways to win, right? So I will lean to the Browns because of that. But I think regardless, your offense has to change because I don't think neither will be sustainable going forward all the way to a deep run.
Well, let's get it twisted. Well, let's not get it flipped either, because I think people confuse postseason narratives with regular season narratives. And I know people see a team winning without a quarterback and go, "Oh, that's not sustainable." It's not sustainable in the postseason to win without a quarterback. Mm-hmm. It is more than doable and has been done plenty of times before to win games in the regular season because you have a good defense. So I don't think what either team is doing is necessarily unsustainable. We're just talking about regular season success because this is teams winning the regular season like this all the times. Teams sneak into the playoffs and get a hot streak on offense. Sonny, you would know this from how Baltimore snuck in there and then got hot on offense. This happened with the Giants a couple times. It's a well-known, one of the most well-tried and true methods in the NFL. Is you got a good defense, you give yourself a good floor for the season because it gives your offense a lot of room for error, which is what both of these defenses have been able to do. It should be no surprise that a team with Myles Garrett and TJ Watt on it, the teams with those guys on it, franchise level players, have found a way to be 4-2 because, we've seen this. Like Baltimore's had those franchise level guys where it's like Kyle Bowler out there. They still winning like 500. Like it's a tried and true strategy in the regular season. I think people are too focused on the quarterback position for this context. We talking about the postseason. Yeah, it's a different game, but we talking about regular season success. It's been done before. I mean, I was about to do an Andy Dalton jab, but I thought better of it. Ace didn't deserve that.
I don't care about no Andy Dalton. You can jab away. Ain't gonna hurt my feelings.
I was like, I just looked at him like he ain't done nothing to me all day. Why would I go there?
Noah Stone here says Tua had 3 picks versus the Packers when he was concussed.
This sounds like excuses, Noah Stone. Was he concussed against the Browns? He threw a pick in that one too.
I don't know, man.
Had a worse quarterback rating.
You know what I mean? Like CJ Walker shook him. Hey, if I got PJ and Kirk O'Chain back to back, I would be making excuses too. Okay, no. After I told everybody it was Brady. That's crazy. You told everybody that this was the next Tom Brady and he lost to PJ Walker and Kirk Cousins. And I think losing to Kirk Cousins is worse. Okay.
Now, to be fair, Q, there's something that you have said to Noah Stone about Brady that he loses to who?
PJ Walker.
Yeah, that type of quarterback, right? Mediocre.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He does. That might be very Tom of him to lose the mediocre quarterbacks because we all know how Tyler Heineke once pushed Tom to the limit in the playoffs before. And Tyler been living off of that one game his whole career. People still be like, should we give Tyler a shot because of that one game?
Yes. Shafiqul here says, I hope Myles wins Defensive Player of the Year, Lamar MVP, Tomlin Coach of the Year, so that I'll make the Bengals look even that much better when they 3-peat that division. Well,
do they put those banners up in Paul Brown? Like, is that
put a 3-peat? I don't know.
I don't know.
Never been done in AFC North history though.
Are you guys like? It's going to sound like a troll, but it's a serious question. Are you guys like AFC champion banner people in Cincinnati, or is it like AFC, no banner but the?
I don't think we had a banner. They got rings, but I don't think we have a banner for that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like,
Because I know in
Also-
basketball they'll put up a banner for anything.
yeah, I was
I
gonna
saw
say,
some T-shirts.
oh, for yeah, they always do T-shirts.
They always do T-shirts though.
Yes.
They always do T-shirts.
No,
Yeah, they
no,
be lying, be like, it's a hat in it. Remember the first time they did like an in season Hard Knocks and it was like, it's a hat in the t-shirt game. What the hell they talking about? Oh, it's to
Yeah.
clinch the division. I ain't
Yeah.
know that happened until then. Like,
Yeah, they do
they got the
T-shirts.
division shirts.
I ain't never seen somebody in real life wear the division champion t-shirt though. Like, I feel like that's a very
I
sad
wore
wear.
it. I had to wear it after that season. I wore it in 2021.
Because I feel like if you wear the division championship t-shirt, that's because you didn't win the Super Bowl. Like, you would just rather wear the Super Bowl shirt if you won the Super Bowl, right? Like, you ain't right. So it's like you just wear the division champion. It's like I'm wearing the consolation prize right now. Like, that's what I'm wearing.
Yep. Okay, so let's talk about the first game. I'm gonna go. I'm sorry, not me, but we're gonna start with the Ravens Cardinals. That line is 9.5 points, which is
Damn.
It's high.
It should
It's
be.
up there.
It
It's up
should be.
there.
Disrespectful to Joshua Dobbs.
Nah,
It's up
it should be.
This
They
is a
treat him
game-
like he's Jared Goff. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Nah, I ain't gonna do Jared like that.
This is a game. Look, the Ravens are coming. As I said, it was kind of weird, but we are as healthy as I remember this team. Right, Marcus Williams is not playing, but other than Marcus Williams, this team is fairly healthy coming into this game, which we haven't been able to say from the Ravens for a minute. We did it also for the Lions game, by the way. But look, this is a game that, in all consideration, by the way, the polls help there. It's a trap game, right? Because you're coming from a big game, a game that you're putting your chest high. You're saying the Ravens. We were picking the analyst, the so-called analyst. Were picking mostly the Lions to win that game, right? And so having this game is on the road to Arizona, so a lot of people think that this could be a trap game. I think this team is too focused for that, though. I think this team, like trenches wise, I think they're gonna dominate offensively and defensively in the trenches. And if they dominate the trenches, other than just being a crazy turnover game for the Ravens, a la what happened in the Colts game, and Steelers game as well. And Steelers, we have more problems than that, but also in the Steelers game, this should be a fairly comfortable game for them. I just have troubles with putting blowouts out there because in the NFL, if anything I learned, as again, the two quote-unquote easiest games that the Ravens had this year, I guess the Texans, right? The Texans are better than what people thought, but the Colts was one that people were like, that's an easy game. The Titans, that's going to be an easy game. And the Titans, we beat them, but they fought all the way to the end. And then with the Colts, we lost, right? So I don't see any easy games. I think what's going to happen is they're going to establish the run. They're going to win in the trenches. I see a game where the receivers go off. The secondary has some players, but not everything. Not anybody that's going to be a shutdown, right? Then we get on the other side, Hollywood Brown, his revenge king, Hollywood Brown.
I forgot he was over there.
Yeah.
Every time I see him, I'm surprised. I'm like, that.
Yeah, I actually think Hollywood will have a decent game. I actually don't think they put Marlowe on him because Marlon Humphrey, in my opinion, where he struggles the most is with the smallest, shiftier guys, right? Guys that he cannot cleanly put hands in the chest, and they're shifty and fast. So I might see Stevens on him. Stevens is a guy that has played way better than people thought. He has hold his own. He's definitely solidified that CB2 on the other side. It's a game that they might eat on the D-line. The question is on offense, right? And I think the offense is also going to be good. Like, I think 21-12 is what I'm going to go. 21-12. I think they're going to score 4 field goals. We're going to score 3 touchdowns. And that's what we're going to roll. But for Ravens fans, this will be a game that you feel fairly comfortable because we start in the hot side. And then I think after that, they run. Because, look, the Ravens looking forward in schedule, and hopefully the team is not doing this. We got Seattle, Bengals and Cleveland, right? That's in the next 3 games. So 2 divisional opponents. They're in the playoffs right now, or playoff hunt, and in Seattle that is currently first in the division, if I'm not mistaken. So definitely we can look to ahead. But I have the Ravens winning this game. I think they win it and they get to Dobbs, and I think they will produce a couple of turnovers in this game. Ace, what do you think?
Yeah, man, this is the easiest pick out of all of these ones. I mean, I think when you look at this just on the surface level, the Bengals, my Bengals that were struggling, played this team and beat them by 14 points, right? I think the Baltimore Ravens, when you look at any metric going into this game, they're a better team. DVOA offense, they're 5th. Cardinals are 16th. DVO defense, Cardinals are 31st. The Ravens are 2nd. The pass defense, Ravens are 1. They're 30th. Total defense, they're the worst total defense at home in the NFL is the Cardinals. They should run away with this one. I think this should be a convincing win for the Ravens. If it is not, that is when we kind of have these conversations where it's like we're not sold on the Ravens. We're sold on them after the Lions last week. If this one is a upset, which I doubt, I'd probably say it's a 1% chance that this is an upset, then you have those doubts, but they should cruise in this one. I don't even think I'm going to really have to watch much of this game. This is going to be one of those condensed games that are like 30 minutes and not like 45.
You going to hit the button? You going to hit the button?
This one,
I'm not hitting. I don't know. It sounds like you have already hit the button.
I think Sonny's going to be in his chair around halftime, and he's going to be like, yes, this is, you know how Sonny says, I want it to be a comfortable.
Exactly.
I don't have to stress. With the Cardinals, dog, like if Kyler Murray was playing in this game, maybe it's a game. But the only advantage that the Arizona Cardinals have in this game is home field advantage, dog. And I'm going with the Ravens. I don't see them dropping this game, especially with the path that they have, like Sonny is talking about.
Man, is it home field advantage?
Exactly. Is it home field advantage? We don't.
All I see is an empty dome with Lamar Jackson not having to worry about no weather.
Look, man, all we're gonna see is them do one of those aerial camera shots of Josh Dobbs, probably running in for a touchdown, and everything else is gonna be the opposition running it up, man. I still want them to send me that Jamar Chase touchdown. If they're gonna use that aerial camera, don't waste it on Josh Dobbs, dog.
By the way, about Kyler Murray, I knew Kyler Murray ain't about to come neither this week or next week, because next week they get Cleveland. He ain't about to play against neither.
You're going to be like, hey, man, welcome back to
Kyler Murray revenge game, pussy.
No, he ain't going to play against the Ravens or Cleveland. No way.
They already said he fully healthy, but he ain't playing. Like,
exactly. No way. No.
Like, who they play? Who the Cardinals play after they play us? They play the Falcons. He will play in Atlanta.
That's where he plays. Q, what do you thought about this game?
Yeah, this Cardinals team looks like they're running out of steam too. Like that's the thing. It's like you start out early in the year, you got all these bag of tricks, and you can figure out a way to maybe sneak you in a win or two, and get some close games in. But then there's a point in the season where the team kind of realizes what it is. And this is the point of the season where the Cardinals are starting to realize what it is. Take it from me, a veteran of a 1-15 season. This is usually about because you start out swinging. Everybody think you trash. You're going to be this and that. You start out swinging. And as a fan, you fall into the trap of might not be that bad. Oh, it is. It is going to be that bad. I think the reason for the one game that the Ravens dropped that was a little bit unexpected, because division games are division games, was like the weather was just crazy and it just had like weird circumstances in that game, and nobody takes advantage of weird circumstances like that weirdo Gardner Minshew, right? Like it just is what it is. But this ain't that. This is he's gonna be indoors. Like, I mean, the best you can hope for is that Lamar tries to throw the ball and everybody he tries to throw to slips on that turf that they have out there. But like, that's it. Like, if he gets anywhere close to a clean game off, I see the Ravens winning this one by at least, with the spread's
9.5.
Yeah, I think I would. Yeah. What's the over under?
9.5. They don't have the over under.
That over under is anywhere near 42. I'm taking it over. Okay.
Guru.
So this game's interesting. And the reason why it's interesting is because even though you look on paper, the Cardinals, they're a team that scored 20 points once. And if you look at their roster, you talk about Hollywood Brown, James Conner played with the Steelers, but I don't know if he's a healthy scratch or what's going on. They're running with DeMarco. But even though the Cardinals record says 1-6, this is a team that beat the Dallas Cowboys. And if you go back to that game, they were a big underdog that game too at home. I like the Ravens, but if you come out there and play with your food and give this team any type of momentum, so the drop passes, the fumbles, that will give a team that's desperate some life. And I still think even though they turned the football over, the Ravens are good enough. What I saw Lamar Jackson last week versus the Detroit Lions, what I saw in terms of Todd Monken's balance, I think that the Ravens are starting to distinguish themselves as a team that might be able to be a contender in the AFC or, in the AFC North. The only thing that I think the Cardinals are going to be able to do well, I think, is offensively is, try to push the ball down the field versus Hollywood Brown. I tell people, when you play against a team that drafted you, in the NFL, tendencies matter. So Hollywood, a lot of those guys that are on your defense, Hollywood has, I'm sure, lit them up in practice. He's lit them up in the preseason. So don't take that for granted. And if anything, it's just a man. It's an ego. He might feel that he got the short end of the stick in Baltimore. And with your secondary currently without Marcus Williams, you do not want to give him any confidence early. I don't see the Cardinals winning at all, but I'm just providing a perspective that I don't see the Cardinals laying down. Remember, this team was up against 21-0 against the Giants. They were up against the Commanders. Eventually, like Hugh said, the talent level differentiates after the second half. And Jonathan Gannon, he's really aggressive. I don't know if you want to blitz Lamar Jackson. You also can't play zone against him. I think somebody for the Ravens that should have a big game is Mark Andrews. The Cardinals linebacking core has been really, really subpar. And I think that Budda Baker, him trying to take away Hollywood, him trying to patrol the deep ball, the middle of the field should be wide open for Lamar. And another thing, too, I think about the Ravens when I look at this game, I think this might be the game Kyle Hamilton has a big game. If you look at Josh Dobbs, a lot of his throws, they're in the flats. They do a lot of intermediate throws. That's perfect for Kyle Hamilton, who's been in that role, as a star position, has been very dominant as a short tackler, ability to make sure he knows where the sticks are. And I just think the Ravens just had a better team. Don't play with your food, but I see 28-7.
28-7.
Ravens. I don't want to see the animation, man. I got PTSD from that graphic.
By the way, Q, what was the over-under you said?
I said, I'll ask you what the over-under is on this game, but I'll look it up while you go.
No, I got it, 44.5.
44.5.
Yeah, 44.
Well, Arizona's going to get 17. So if you think Baltimore's going to get over 30, that's a good goal.
Okay, so
well, if you think Baltimore going to win, that's a good goal because Arizona's going to put up a little bit of points.
Okay. Okay. Before we go to the next stream of Super Chat, Ace, talk to us about our sponsor.
Yes, season's greetings, more like season's compliments, because compliments are guaranteed after making the leap to skincare with Caldera Lab. And I'm talking to you about how you look today and 20 years from now. The results are incredible in little time. Men's skincare and Caldera Lab are the perfect pair for you to look and feel your best. Super easy to add in the morning and to your nightly routine. Clear skin, less wrinkles and signs of aging. Enough said. Caldera Lab Skincare. Join the other 100,000 men who trust Caldera Lab to show your first best impression this fall. Having a sexy routine and habits is the new big thing. And what if we told you it took less than a minute to add? Caldera Labs wants to help you accomplish this big time in little time. Caldera Lab creates high-performance men's skincare products, and the regimen leads off their product lineup, a twice-a-day routine to transform your skin. Caldera Lab knows skincare is a heavily female-driven world and has been long the wild, wild west for men, and that's why they're making the solution simple. That's what we need as men, something simple. And the regimen includes 3 products: the clean slate, the base layer, and the good. The clean slate starts and ends your day. This face wash leaves your skins all type of refreshed. The base layer is your daily moisturizer to hydrate your skin and jumpstart your full day of confidence. The good is your go-to multifunctional serum at night that helps your skin look tighter and smoother, as well as it helps the visibility, reduce the visibility of wrinkles and fine lines. Every drop of this serum is packed with 3.4 million antioxidant units protecting your skin. In the Caldera Lab Eye Serum, it addressed the 3 most common skin concerns around the eye: fine lines, dark circles, and puffiness. Caldera Lab is a leader in men's skincare, made only with top-tier ingredients, and clinical trials have found that 94% of men's skin showed an overall younger-looking appearance after using Caldera Lab for weeks. 1 minute in the morning and night is all it takes to reduce your wrinkles, fine lines, and signs of aging. And just for our audience, we have an exclusive deal. You're not beating this offer. Use our code AFC North Talk at Caldera.com and get 20% off right now. Get 20% off with the code AFC North Talk at Calderalab.com to make those unforgettable first impressions with the best gift of the holiday season. Once again, that's 20% off at Calderalab.com with the code AFC North Talk.
By the way, great products. Go check them out. No odor. It makes your skin just feel great. Also, big shout out to Adam Holland, Dom Gasula, Luis Cousin, Leo Sell, Ray Rack, Wesley World, Christian Rod. Thank you for being the top tier on the Patreon. Appreciate that. Okay, by the way, 84% of y'all voted for the Ravens to win this game. We had a couple super chats here. PJ Walker, Nova Stone's GOAT Slayer.
That's crazy. That's great. Your GOAT can't beat PJ. That's nuts.
Will I be wrong to suggest that the winner of the upcoming Super Bowl will come out of the AFC North? I mean, it's definitely a possibility.
Yeah, it's just there's a Pat Mahomes that exists.
Yeah,
like,
and this is what
just overlook.
Yeah.
And this is what I want to say, and I believe this. I find solace in the team who wins the AFC North, right? Especially this year, because there is no dominant. The Chiefs, no matter what you say, they're not the same Chiefs that have hosted Lombardis, right? And then when do we look at who's the face for it? They're not.
They won one last year.
No, I said this is not the same team. They're not.
He's saying this is a different team. Like
They
how
said
they
they're not as good.
versus
Not
last
as
year.
They're not as good as last year, Q. If you think that, look at the numbers. They're
How
not.
are they radically different?
Their defense is a strength now, and the offense has inconsistencies. The receiver core, the offense has like
last
the
game they
has only
looked
scored-
like last year.
Yeah,
but
they
I
scored.
think they're
They scored
comparable
30.
to last year. I don't think
Their
they're
defense, I would say that their defense is better than their offense this year. They still have Pat Mahomes. They still have those guys, but
Kelsey,
they've really struggled to find a good
got
receiver.
Miko
Like,
back. Like
Juju was actually pretty solid for them. Travis Kelsey is Travis Kelsey, but the rest of their receiving core is.
I mean, if
been-
you're telling me the biggest loss that they got is Juju Smith-Schuster, that's basically the same team.
Orlando Brown, they've lost a lot of
Yeah,
pieces.
the old
over
line.
there.
The old line has to move.
I've
defense is
never
strong,
been that
though.
high on
The
Orlando
defense is strong.
Brown, but the
You made
defense is good.
You made a comment earlier that playoff football is different, and that's what I'm saying. These guys, the receiving core, the only playoff guy that has experience is, of course, Miko and MVS. I just don't think the Chiefs this season so far has distinguished themselves as a team in the AFC that can even beat an NFC favorite. I'm sorry. The NFC, if they were to play tomorrow, I don't think the Chiefs would be able to win. And I just think
if they ran it back with the Eagles, bro,
it would not be the same.
Jalen Hurts has been playing very inconsistent football this year as well. Like, he hasn't been the same guy that he's been advertised as. So
Hey, listen,
I don't think that it's wildly different. Like, are they beatable? Yeah, I think the Chiefs have always been a beatable team, especially without Tyreek Hill. But like, they're still the same Chiefs team, though. I don't know if I would go that far and say that, but I get your point.
I just don't think they're as dominant. Maybe that's the word.
Okay, Gagan says, don't sleep on Stefanski's protege, Drew Petzing. Right? Is that how you pronounce his last name?
You got it right. That's
Petzing.
perfect. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's not me sleeping on him. It's a lot of people.
It's not Drew Petzing that people are sleeping on.
It's so much you can do with the talent, right? They were scrappy at the beginning of the year. They have been I would say this: they have been better than what I thought they were gonna be coming into the year.
Let's keep it real. Like they might not want to play Kyler Murray because this season is going exactly the way they want it to.
Exactly.
Like,
They're in the Caleb Williams sweepstakes. The only thing preventing them right now, Caleb Williams.
well, they're
is
at least. I would say this: they are at least in the Marvin Harrison Jr. lottery.
Sure.
Yeah, like
apparently there's an Eagles fan in the comments. He says that he wants the Chiefs again.
I bet you do.
Yeah, that would be in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, of course you want the Chiefs again. Just don't fuck.
Yeah, Elite Dragon here says once Ravens get Henry, it's over for the North.
The Ravens will trade for Derrick Henry, and Lamar Jackson still going to lead that team in rushing.
I don't think we're gonna get Henry. I know that's the rumor. Ace told me about it too. I would think that they should go for a pass. That's just me. Maybe it's just
it doesn't make sense. Like I'm not. This is gonna sound like a joke, but I'm being dead serious. It really don't make sense to trade for Derrick Henry when you have Lamar Jackson.
But not only that, Gus Edwards been very productive. It's not like the running back is not being productive. Like
because all you need is compliments at running back at that point once you have Lamar. So it's like,
and then you guys also like Keaton Mitchell too, right? Like he's gotten some runs here and there. Yeah.
Well,
I'm not sure if running back is the need, but hey.
All those three running backs.
I mean, like D-Hop. Now that makes sense.
That makes more sense.
But I haven't heard anything about that.
No, I think they're fine. I think they're right now content with the receiver. But those three running backs we have are also good in the passing game. When we play Tennessee in that last drive where they're trying to see if they can, make it. They're losing by 10, I think. Derrick Henry was in the bench. He didn't touch the field, not because he was hurt, because he doesn't produce anything in the passing game, right? They did not use him as a pass catching. So I don't know if that he will be the best. I think the only way I see Henry is if it was very cheap, meaning very low pick, and they pick up a lot of the money.
Y'all don't run that much wide zone. Y'all run like inside out pistol, so it don't make any sense to go after.
I agree.
And
there's others.
I love D-Hen. I still think that he's a talent, but the reason he is on the trade block is because Tajay Spears looks like the better running back over there right now.
And last thing too, if the Ravens trade for Derrick Henry, that says a lot what they think about J.K. Dobbins as well.
Well, J.K. is a free agent this year. He's a free agent after
coming off of Achilles.
Most people expect him to re-sign him, though. He's very respected in that room. You got to understand what.
So.
You don't? Wow.
No, I think unless he says like I'm willing basically to come near a vet minimal.
No, he's not going to really have any other options.
The what?
Will he have any other options though? Like I think he's probably going to come on a.
Remember, he held in all year because he was trying to get a contract. So he might be pissed for the organization too.
Yeah. I don't think he's coming back.
Yeah. Habitual line here says Cardinals about to receive a Jackson 5 for running back meme. And then Noah Stone here says Tom also lost to PJ last year versus the Panthers. Yes, I think that's what the other super chat was saying. Jeremy here says Q. Fellas, could Cleveland make the Super Bowl with Tom Brady and a trade for Derrick Henry? And will that be the ultimate Belichick troll? A Browns Super Bowl he could win. He could with this team.
Is this who they steals Browns burner count?
I don't know. They're not trading for Derrick Henry, and I don't think Tom Brady's coming out of retirement to play for the Cleveland Browns.
And for everybody saying the Tom Brady stuff, he is a partial owner of the Raiders, which makes it illegal for him to do that. He cannot.
He'll have to sell it. Yep.
I'll just throw this out here. Nobody who retires for football really be trying to get back into it after they retire. Like it's usually a I'm done type situation. Like you look at most of the guys. Look, Guru, Ben coming back anytime soon?
No.
Yeah, he gonna be OC.
Yeah. He come back to like do the stuff for the intro before the stadium. Like Brady will wear the jersey, an ambassador of your team, but he ain't playing no more. That shit hurt. He 40.
Habitual also said, I predict no AFC North losses, 3-game wins 3. And he's talking about last 2 weeks, the AFC North has not lost. PA Walker about to have Seattle. Man.
Nick set you up. Don't say that.
No, I'm not gonna say it again. I'm not gonna say. I almost did, but no.
He set you up.
Okay, let's talk about the next game: the Browns and the Seahawks. And this is a game cross country for the Browns. They're going to Seattle.
First back-to-back road trip too.
12 man here. Seattle's a team. Talk about a team, but I think most of us expect it, right? That they've been up and down, not as consistent as we would like. I don't know. I think this is a game that the only thing that worries me actually, Q. I think that if this is playing Cleveland, I think Cleveland wins because I think the pressure that the line can provide for Geno will force him to produce turnovers. But cross country is always hard. It's always hard. This is not no for the Ravens, for everybody. So, oh man, this is a toss-up game for me. I don't know about y'all. This is a toss-up game for me. I can see it go any way. If Cleveland does pressure, as I expect them to pressure Geno, and if PJ Walker can reduce some of those turnovers that he loves to throw, I think Cleveland wins. I think they're better in the trenches on both sides. And Seattle is pretty good on the pass rushing side, right? They can produce also pressure. But I think the O-line of Cleveland, although it's not the O-line that we thought about a couple years ago, still one of the top O-lines. And I think they will give PJ Walker enough time. Right, and the running game should also, I'm blanking the dude's name, but between him and Hunt, you see a little bit more progression. So I'm gonna go with the Browns because I think they're the better team. But this is a game that can go either way. Like if we're here on Tuesday saying like the Browns lost by 3 or by 6, whatever, I wouldn't be surprised. It won't shock me. But I think the Browns are the better team. And I think the defense is one of the things that usually travels well. Q, but I want to know, what is your breakdown on this game?
This is a tough game for the Browns, right? On the road, in a tough environment, against a good football team in the Seattle Seahawks. Now, the one thing that they have going for them is that the Seahawks haven't really scored the football that well the last couple of weeks, right? You look at 20 points versus the Cardinals. You look at 17 the week before. And this Browns defense is coming to town after a bad game. So you expect them to be more locked in than they were. I actually think the crazy environment that Seattle is going to be a benefit to this defense because it helps them lock in a little bit more. I think a lot of what you saw from this defense against Indy was just a defense that wasn't locked in, right? Missed tackles, bad angles, miscommunication on basic stuff. So I think that they weren't locked in against Indy. They'll be locked in this week. They'll play well. The question is going to be, can PJ Walker make 2 or 3 big throws in this game to push the offense downfield? From what I saw on tape, I'm gonna be honest, I like the decisions that PJ makes. He just, for whatever reason, he's not getting there on time, or he's not trusting it. And I think this is a week where I think PJ is going to stack some games up. He has had a bunch of reps the last few weeks. I think you're going to see PJ put together a good game. I have no clue who's going to win or lose this game. Also, something to note, I heard that the Seahawks might be starting Jason Peters this week at one of the tackle positions. If that happens, last time it happened, Miles got 4.5 sacks. Last time Jason Peters tried to play tackle against Myles Garrett, he got 4.5 sacks. And that was 2 years ago. And Jason Peters has only gotten older. So if I do see Jason Peters out there, I think the Browns can win this game, and with a similar effort from last week, because it's not just going to be Myles Garrett on Jason Peters. It's going to be Zadarius Smith and Obo Okoronkwo on him. So that's where the game can be wrecked If you're the Browns, get that pressure on Geno, really force him to stay in that pocket or try to get rid of that ball quickly. And then the man coverage is going to lock things up in the back end. But that's what I feel strongly about on this game. That's what I feel strongly about with this team this week. And I think that the defense is going to be able to bring it home. And I think PJ going to make some plays this week. I think we're going to be surprised what we see out of PJ.
Coach Sam Mitchell should have shouted us out, man. Say what's going on.
Big shout, Sam Mitchell. Jalen Rose has a crazy story. But you ever see that story talk, Jalen Rose?
Hey, I got the earphones. Use it. Oh, God. Hey, the AirPods couldn't be any better than it is.
Oh, man. I just remember what that story was about. Like, definitely don't want to bring that up to him.
I'll talk to you back office.
Oh, damn. All right. But yeah, that's what I think about this game. Sonny, you're muted.
Oh, sorry. What do you think about this? The line is in this game.
Me, or did you say Ace?
No, Q. What do you think is the line for this game?
The line, it's got to be at like, what, 2.5? It's got to be close, right?
It's Cleveland plus 3.5.
Now I want to take Seattle. See, now I don't trust that. On the road with PJ Walker, we're up 3.
3.5. Well, in theory, they're saying the Seattle's favorite.
Okay, their favorite. Yeah, my bad. I heard it wrong.
It's plus 3.5 for the Browns.
3.5. So they think that the team's going to win by a touchdown. Yeah,
so a home team usually gets a -3. So they're giving the Seattle Seahawks half a point more. So that means the bets are coming to this side. And then the over-under is 37.5.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think this will be a low-scoring game. I don't know if it's going to be under 37 points low-scoring, but, you know.
You see 2017 as the score?
Yeah, I think they're both. I think one team gets under 20. I think the other team probably hits like 24, 20, 28, something like that.
Okay, so they're probably going to be the over. Okay, that's fine. Ace, what do you think about this game?
Yeah, I think this is an interesting matchup. I think the biggest thing that I'm seeing here is this is a team in Seattle that is pretty good at stopping the run, right? And obviously running is something that the Browns do well. When you look at the numbers for the Browns in terms of how they've done on the road, they're the number 1 rushing offense. I talked a little bit about the scoring, and I said that they've been able to score regardless of the situation. And on the road, they have been the number 1 scoring offense. That may shock some people, but that is what the Browns have been able to do in that span of time. The question that I have is, especially after playing the Seahawks, they do have some corners, right? So PJ Walker is going up against Weatherspoon, who a lot of people are really high on, Tariq Woolen as well. What can they do in the air game if Seattle is able to kind of slow that run down a little bit? That's the question that I have. I'm just not so sure that I can trust PJ Walker against the secondary. And I think that this is a Seattle team that can score points. I think the Browns will keep it close. I think their defense will keep them in it because we all saw the video from week 1 where Aaron Donald was able to catch Geno Smith off guard, and he was yelling, "Oh my God!" That's what he's going to be doing against Myles Garrett on Sunday because Charles Cross went against Trey Hendrickson, and Trey Hendrickson dominated him. So I know that's what I know that's what Myles Garrett is about to do in this game. The question for me, though, is just can we depend on PJ Walker to make those passes? And that's where I'm having a hard time kind of wrapping my mind around in terms of that. On offense, Seattle's also going to be getting back DK Metcalf. He was out the last game. Jackson Smith and Jigba has started to get it going a little bit. I still look forward to seeing that matchup of their receivers versus Cleveland's corners. And I'm going to get an edge to Cleveland's corners because I did see DK Metcalf, even though he is, a specimen, I did see CTB lock him up with the physical play. So I could see something like Martin Emerson doing the same thing against a guy like him. So for them on offense, it's going to come down to Tyler Lockett and I think JSN for them. I think this will be a close game. I think I'm just going to give Seattle the slight edge just because of if they do slow down the run in Jerome Ford and Kareem Hunt, will they go to the air? And I just can't trust PJ Walker. If this is Deshaun, I trust Deshaun more than PJ Walker to make those passing plays. But as it stands right now, I'm going to give the slight edge to Seattle. If I'm going with a score prediction, I'm going with 27-24 Seattle over the Browns.
I will mention this. Devin Witherspoon has had a pretty good start to his career.
Yeah.
But if you look at the guys he's had a lot of success with, is younger, athletic guys who are going to try outrun him. Mm-hmm. This is the first wide receiver that he's going to be going up against regularly in Amari Cooper that's going to try to outthink him. And that's what Coop's one of the best at in the league. And this might be a little bit of a learning moment for Devin where, you know, it's a different battle. Coop does different things right there. And he's not going to try to outrun you. So I think that that's something to watch. And if the Seahawks decide to be overly confident in that matchup and say, hey, we're just going to leave Coop one-on-one with Devin, like we're fine with that matchup and not bracket him like the Colts did, I can see Coop going off having a big game because one thing about PJ, his reads go Coop 2-3. Okay.
Yeah. I forgot to mention that I cannot see them putting Witherspoon on Coop because the thing is, Coop is a guy that is so methodically in his route running, and Witherspoon is kind of grabby. Mm-hmm. And I can just see penalty galore.
Yep.
It's either gonna get eat up or gonna be penalty galore.
If they take the approach. So here's the thing: a lot of people look at it like you would expect, you know, with those corners if they're playing heavy man, right? They really don't. They play a lot of zone.
Yeah.
And generally when we played them, they actually put Tariq Woolen on Jamar Chase more.
Makes sense.
But when Jamar went into the slot, like Witherspoon only had Jamar for like 2 snaps. So they were making a big deal about that, but he was only on Jamar twice throughout the game. So
and that makes sense.
You'll probably see Tariq Woolen, I'm thinking, on Amari Cooper more so, unless he moves around to the slot or something like that.
They like to isolate Amari on the opposite of the of whatever they're running bunch and trips to. So yeah, he'll probably see a good amount of Devin. I think they'll try to make sure that happens in this game. Jamal Adams, like, is he still good? Like, how do we feel about Jamal Adams?
He's not good. He's a linebacker playing safety.
All right. Yeah. By the way, shout out Artie Burns, still in the league, man. Shout out to you.
But and before we go with you, Guru, Ace, are you hurt Q lately with all the love for the kickers? For his kicker.
I have not.
He mentioned it early on the show. I'm appreciative
of what he's been doing. You know what I mean? They got him the right way. What do I always tell you? Don't draft him. Just get a vet. Just get a vet. They got the vet. They finally listened to me instead of drafting 3 kickers in a row. And all of a sudden, it looks like things are much better.
Okay, Guru, what do you think about this game?
Yeah, I agree with pretty much the discernment going forward. I was looked at the injury report. Peters he's not playing. Charles Cross and Stone Forsythe are healthy. The issue right now is the right guard, Phil Haynes, is out. So I guess if anything, they would maybe move him to guard, which I don't think is advantageous. So Anthony Bradford would get the role. The biggest injury actually was Uchenna Wusu missing this season. One of their better pass rushers is out. That's why they signed Frank Clark a couple of days ago. Pertaining to this matchup, man, I think that Bobby Wagner, Devin Bush, your boy Devin Bush. Why you didn't shout him out?
Oh yeah, still in the league. Shout out to him.
But I think, listen, Geno Smith has not played like the Geno Smith that played last year, led the team in completion percentage. I don't know what's going on. I know the OC Canales leaves to go to Tampa Bay, and they bring in somebody else. I don't know if that's the issue. Kenneth Walker, questionable, but the running game, you thought Zach Charbonnet, you thought maybe DJ Dallas would be able to provide a running game. They have not done that, and I believe the Seattle Seahawks give up 259 yards per game in the passing game with the secondary, right? So I think that this game actually, believe it or not, Q, will come down to Dustin Hopkins' game-winning field goal opportunity. And the reason why I say that is I think your offense is good enough to move the football against their defense. They struggle against the pass, and Kevin Stefanski should be able to exploit the middle of the field. Njoku, I think Amari probably will, because Seattle plays a lot of cover 2 on Pete Carroll's scheme, cover 3. So I don't necessarily see a lot of man. But my issue at Seattle is they have no identity offensively, right? The defense doesn't produce enough turnovers. The best game of the season was the Monday night game versus the Giants, but that was against an abysmal offense that didn't have any, weapons at the time. So I think, Q, this game is advantageous for you. I think that your offense is going to be able to build off the second half of the Colts game last week. I think that Myles Garrett is playing at an unbelievable level. And somebody in your defense who I just think is so underrated, and that's JOK. I think JOK's ability to cover, his ability to fill the hole, his ability to communicate, and most of all, his ability to be instinctive. It is a bad matchup for Geno Smith, who has a history. And I say history of staring down receivers, not going his progressions. And if you pressure Geno, he will give you an opportunity to take the football away. I'm going to go Seattle Browns game. I'm going to go Cleveland 21, Seattle 10.
Okay, so under. He's taking the under. Okay, we have 2 super chats, and then we'll move on to the next one. Q, would you take this trade, Deshaun for Justin Fields straight up?
No, come on.
And then here says, I think this Browns game will tell us a lot about this team. Can they go into a loud, hostile environment and win down there? Starting QB. Your thoughts, Q?
I mean, they got their starting QB right now. The starting QB, PJ Walker. That's who they prepared for the whole week to be the starter. That's who the starter's been the last 3 weeks. So, it's not like we just throwing a guy in there for the first time. He's been on the road before. He's a veteran. He's done this before. So I expect him to be able to. I sound like Mike Tomlin. I expect him to go in there and be able to execute. The standard is the standard.
And then Mighty Mulatto here says, are we seeing the end of QBs playing full seasons with the likes of Cooper Rush, PJ Walker, and Tyler Huntley, keeping teams competitive as backups?
Nah. Quarterbacks will always play full seasons as long as they're good enough and healthy.
And oh my goodness, here says, Stephen Stefanski cries in
the shower listening to Ball Without You by 21 Savage, thinking about how he lost the receipt to Deshaun Watson.
Leave it there.
Yeah, I didn't see the rest of that.
Yeah, Kevin Stefanski really doing a lot of crying at 4-2.
Yeah. Look, the Browns right now are overachieving.
This must be Cincinnati fan. They've been extra spicy with us this year because we won that game, and then they 3-3. They can't get out the basement because we keep they've been extra. I've noticed it. Even Sean Ross got spicy with us about wrestling. I was like, okay, man. I guess it's a real rivalry now. To y'all.
Okay. Now this is the poll for y'all. Seahawks 56, Browns 44. So close. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Ace, I know you don't have a lot of time here left, but let's talk about this Bengals and 49ers. What are your thoughts about this game?
Yeah, with this game, this is a statement game going into Candlestick, coming off of a bye. You were able to get to 3-3, but now the real run or the real schedule kind of is in your face. It's do or die, whether or not you're going to be able to be a good team, be the Bengals from last year. And this is the first test. You're facing a 49ers team coming off of 2 losses. Even though they have 2 losses in a row, still think that this is one of the best teams in the league. I'm not going to let the 2 hiccups that they had keep me from thinking anything different. The one thing that I think about that really, I think, favors the Bengals in this one is the fact that Trent Williams might be out of the game and the fact that Deebo Samuel might be out of the game. Why do I say that? The Bengals defense has been susceptible to a lot of reverses this season, a lot of deep passes, something that Deebo would have really taken advantage of, I feel like, in this game. However, what causes me some concern, Christian McCaffrey, CMC. I know they claim he had 2 down games. I don't consider the last 2 games 2 down games. I mean, the guy still had 100 total yards, touchdowns in both games. So for me, I still think CMC is the key for us to have a chance in this one. You're going to have to limit him. You're not going to eliminate CMC. He's going to get his, but you've got to control it. The other factor, though, is the Bengals are playing really good on the pass defense scale. When it comes to any wide receivers that they're going up against, they have done extremely well against them. So with the 49ers only having Brandon Ayuk in this game, I think that that's going to allow them to kind of focus specifically on him and essentially try to slow them down. With the Shanahan offense, what he's going to try to do is use zone runs to set up those deep shots, right? And I like my chances because the Bengals corners have been able to get turnovers that way. They've been able to be advantageous in those situations. We talk about Brock Purdy. Yeah, he's a solid quarterback, but what has been the narrative on Brock Purdy? He's thrown a lot of passes that should have been picked off. If he does that against the Bengals, those are going to be huge turnovers that they can use in the effort to improve. Now, the other thing that makes me confident about this is we talk about the offense, right? It starts with Joe Burrow. It ends with Jamar Chase. And you can also throw a T. Higgins in there as well. I'm not too confident about the run game, but Zach Taylor, he's not going to run. And this isn't the team to run against with in the NFL. They're like the fourth best run defense in the NFL. This isn't that team for that. But what you can do, and what we saw on Monday night against the Vikings, is take advantage of their corners. Yes, they have a good defense. They do not have good corners. So the 49ers, I think with them trying to stop Jamar Chase is going to be a key. I think the Bengals are going to pepper Jamar Chase with targets in this one. And I think that this offense has something to prove. I talked about the Bengals being back after the Cardinals game. Thought it was the same when we played Seattle in the first half. Didn't look like the same team in that second half. So they've got a chip on their shoulder. They've been talking all week about the offense getting back on track. I think the bye week is exactly what they needed. I think it's also going to help the offensive line as well, who's playing pretty good. And that's the other thing about the 49ers. Their pass rush isn't really good, even though they have Nick Bosa, who is good, but he's having a down season at this moment, only 2.5 sacks on the season. Outside of Nick Bosa, they cannot generate pressure really from anyone else. You got Cleveland Farrell. He's a guy that was a first-round bust. They don't really have guys that are going to scare you from a pass rushing standpoint outside of Nick Bosa is really what it kind of comes down to. So for me, I feel pretty confident going against this offense. Now, I would feel ultra confident if Brock Purdy wasn't playing. I do feel like Brock Purdy is underrated as a quarterback. I think he's a great fit for the Shanahan offense. He knows what they like to do. And if you would have given me Sam Darnold, dog, like that's night and day for me. Sam Darnold is just going to gift you interceptions and stuff like that. I think Brock Purdy is going to play in this game, but I do think that the Bengals are ready to come into Candlestick and prove to the rest of the league that they're back and that they're ready to try to go on a run here. So I'm going to take the Bengals in a close one. I think this one is going to be 30-27 Bengals.
Ooh, okay. Quickly, Ace, because I don't know how long you have here.
Yeah.
What is your score prediction and your thoughts on the Steelers as well?
Steelers, Jacksonville game. I really like the Steelers and what they're doing. Jacksonville, though, what they're doing offensively with Trevor Lawrence, I don't know if Kenny Pickett and them can match that right now. And historically, I believe the Jaguars in the last couple of matchups against the Steelers, they pretty much had their number in the last, 4 or 5 games. So I'm going to go with Jacksonville, more so because of Trevor Lawrence and my belief in that offense being able to score more points than Pittsburgh. But I think Pittsburgh is always going to keep every game close. They're always a competitive team. I just think Jacksonville right now, the way they're playing, they're like a top 5 team in the AFC, just period. I think that they're legit. So I'm going to go with Jacksonville in that one. And I'm going to take Jacksonville. Let's go. I'm going to give the Steelers some respect on defense. I'm going to go Jacksonville 20, Pittsburgh Steelers 17.
Okay, Q, what do you think about the Bengals game against the Niners?
Well, Ace, you can thank the Cleveland Browns for setting y'all up for this one. We also put Trent Williams on that injury report.
Yeah.
For 2 weeks. We also put Deebo Samuels. By the way, they looked healthy when they were at the fight pregame, but I guess something happened when the ball started getting snapped with them. This is an interesting game because it's hard for me to imagine that the 49ers are going to lose 3 games in a row, fresh off of 15 regular season games in a row. And it looks like you are going to have a healthy Brock Purdy and you're going to have Christian McCaffrey, but he hasn't really looked the same without Deebo out there, right? Brock Purdy hasn't really looked like that guy. And then Trent Williams not being there is something that has also affected him. It's, I think, a bit of a toss-up it depends. Like Joe Burrow has also not been super consistent. It depends on which one did you see show up, which Bengals offense that you see show up. Is it going to be the team that can put up 40? Is it going to be the team that puts up a very disappointing 17 because they don't want to score in the second half? I am going to lean towards the 49ers because I just think it's so hard for that team to lose 3 in a row. And I think the Bengals just in a bad spot where they had to play them after they lost 2 games like this. I think that that the 49ers will come out on top.
Yeah, for me, similar that I said about the Steelers last week, or the Bengals coming from a bye, right? This is the time that if their offense is going to get fixed, right? Because we saw them 2 weeks ago, right? 2 weeks ago when they played a great performance, they said that they're back. And then the following week, the offense went back to, started hot the first couple
They
drives.
had a hot 2 quarters.
Yeah. And then they went back to what they have been doing all season. But after the week, back half should be feeling better. Also, any kinks that they were doing, right? Anything that they're seeing on film, that was the time to fix it. So if there any time that this offense should be clicking, like the whole West Coast thing, I don't like it. But after the bye, it's easier to see it after the bye than it is during the season when you just go like the Browns are going from one team to another to the West Coast. That's harder to do than just doing it from after bye. The other side is the Niners are not as healthy. This is a game that you need to say, Henderson, you need to get yours. You need to get yours. You have been our guy. Reader, in my opinion, has had a disappointing season, but still, Henderson, we pay you. You're our main rusher. Williams is not there, so this is your game that you need to eat. And if he's eating, and not necessarily on sack, just putting pressure on Purdy, I believe the Bengals will win this game. I think that is the key. Putting pressure on Purdy, right? Because Purdy seems to be a little flustered after getting all this pressure, right? So Trent Williams obviously has made a big difference not having Trent Williams there. So if the pressure comes to Purdy, I think the Bengals will win. I think that literally, I don't want to be over simplistic, but I think if the pressure, if Purdy has a clean game, like the Bengals cannot get to Purdy, then I do think then the Bengals will lose. I think it's going to be a close game. I think about 6 points either way, but I think it's going to be a good game to watch. Guru, what do you think about this Bengals game?
Quickly, because we're about to go live too. I need to talk about the Steelers game. But the Bengals game, I think, listen, they're coming off a bye week. The 49ers are reeling. And when I say reeling, the defense got exposed for Minnesota. You saw a defense that struggled significantly checking a true route runner. Charvarius Ward didn't have enough answer. You saw Dre Greenlaw. You saw even times Fred Warner susceptible to TJ Hawkinson, right? When I look at the Cincinnati Bengals, how they started the season, this is usually, right, when they start to click. The bye week earlier for them, like I told people, early buys are not bad for teams that have been reeling. I think when you look at Trent Williams, when you look with Purdy, I don't care that he's questionable. He's not a quarterback that can miss reps at this point of the season, especially how he's been playing, predominantly the last 2 weeks. I know Cleveland, he gave Moody an opportunity to win, but last week, that last drive, that was pathetic. And when you look at Lou, he basically relishes off of a quarterback's ability to not progress, go through his progressions, and he relishes over a quarterback who does not understand man his own coverage. Lou's going to show multiple looks, probably more looks than he showed previously because of the bye week, and he wanted to make sure that his secondary would communicate at a high level. So I'm sure the responsibilities of a Daxon Hill, the responsibilities of a Jordan Battle probably is going to improve this game. I think offensively, T. Higgins, if he circled a matchup, besides Levi Wallace, I probably would circle this matchup. Advantageous for him to get going just because they don't have the matchup. Give this to Brendan, please. Brendan. Thank you. I just think that when I look at this matchup, I just don't think the 49ers are going to have enough firepower. I think Joe Burrow is healthy now. You saw how Kirk Cousins looked. If Steve Wilkes is going to play zone, if Steve Wilkes is going to not blitz, Joe Burrow might have a day. And I just think that when I look at Burrow, when I look at the Cincinnati Bengals, the trajectory of this football team, this is a 5-star matchup because they have Buffalo next week. So you want to start getting some confidence. You want to start getting some wins. I like Cincinnati 31. I like 49ers 24.
Okay, so Guru, give me your Steelers take as we are going to the last game. By the way, we have here the poll is 57% Niners. But okay, Steelers against the Jaguars. What are you thinking?
Yeah, so right now Jacksonville's, like Ace said, they're playing phenomenal football, but we got to be completely honest here. They should have lost versus the Saints, right? The Saints you saw the Foster Moreau catch. That was a drop. You saw the Jacksonville Jaguars in the second half basically play with their food. Coming into Pittsburgh, how the Steelers played against the Ravens, how they played against the Rams. This football team looks like they're trending upward. I got a funny stat for you right now. Trevor Lawrence has the most fumbles in the National Football League since 2017, right? That's music for a pass rush and a front seven. They got breaking news that Cam Hayward was a full participant today. If Cam Hayward plays Sunday, I just think it's huge. I just think it's huge for the Steelers in terms of a run defense that's been reeling, how Travis Etienne has been playing. I think that Trevor Lawrence, he has not thrown the ball at all in the middle of the field. I think that also Trevor Lawrence has struggled significantly against press coverage. I think the Steelers, with JPJ hurt, with Levi Wallace hurt, Darius Rush, who they just brought in from the Chiefs, Luke Barku, who was an XFL superstar, they're going to get some reps.
Luke
Barku, yes sir. He
shut down
get some
Josh
reps.
Gordon.
Yeah, he'll get some reps. But most of all, the reason why the Steelers, I think, are going to be able to win this game is because Jacksonville's pass defense is just horrendous. Tyson Campbell went to Georgia. You saw what George Pickens did to a former Georgia boy last week. Derrick Hendricks. Tyson Campbell has been struggling. George Pickens, he leads the National Football League in yards per catch. He leads the National Football League in slant and routes that are slant routes, the percentage rate, and I believe he has 2 drops in the season. Deontay Johnson coming back has helped the defenses. You can't double George. And I think the biggest component I think the Steelers are going to be able to reel off of is Allen Robinson, the former Jaguar.
Allen Robinson.
Yeah, Allen Robinson, former Jaguar. He's going to be able to have advantageous matchups against a Jacksonville Jaguars team who struggles against the slide. But I think the Steelers with 3 home games, with a home game in Pittsburgh, I think this game, believe it or not, got 31-17 Steelers. Jacksonville, they struggled significantly against the Texans, and they struggled against the Colts. This football team has not played like the preseason team. And then Ace had said something that wasn't true. He said that the Jacksonville has had success the last 2 matchups. Actually not. The Steelers have won versus Jacksonville. The last time Jacksonville beat the Steelers was the vintage the Big Ben game in the playoffs with
I love that game.
Miles Jack pick 6. Okay. So the Steelers
Jacksonville. Yeah.
The Steelers in a situation now. Also, I want you to look at how the offense looked. The offense looked significantly better. The second half, you saw Najee Harris, you saw Jalen Warren, you saw the run game look better. Isaac Seumalo, you saw James Daniel. How about Dan Moore Jr., who's been getting crucified with Broderick Jones, 0 sacks allowed, 0 pressure. So I think the Steelers are looking like a team that wants to stack some wins with an easy schedule against the Titans and then the Packers coming up. I got a lot of respect for Jacksonville. I think Doug Peterson, he's creative. Look up for Jamal Agnew on those gadget plays. But at the end of the day, Calvin Ridley has not looked like the number 1 receiver they traded for from the Falcons. And I think Zay Jones' injury hurts them because Christian Kirk in the slot, he's going to get Patrick Peterson, but he's also going to get bracketed because if Calvin Ridley's not winning outside, who's going to be winning? Evan Ingram. And you know what happens in those big games, what Evan Ingram does. He drops the football. And I just think Mike Tomlin, you got to give him some credit. This football team should not be 4-2. It should not be the 5th seed in AFC. Eventually, when they get healthy, you would expect them to rise. The offense scored 24 points last game, the second highest in the Matt Canada era, the highest of the entire season. So it just looked like the Steelers have an advantageous matchup at home. If this game was in Jacksonville, I think it would be a toss-up. But the Steelers should, I think, win convincingly at home.
Okay, so this is the thing, right? Jacksonville, for me, coming from that mini bye right now, played Thursday night last time. That being said, I've been a guy that I'm gonna get crucified. Prepare for Sonny's bad hot take here. I had never loved Trevor Lawrence. I said it before. I said it here in the pod that I had never been so high on Trevor Lawrence. I just think that
one more thing.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Terrell Austin announced that TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith will be moving over. TJ Watt strictly lined up on the left side. Now he's moving to the right side. I want to introduce you to Anton Harrison. 4 sacks allowed, 3 penalties, rookie from Oklahoma. The Jawan Taylor replacement. I would like to allow you to be baptized in the name of the TJ Watt, the Alex Highsmith, and the Nick Herbig.
TJ Watt running from the grind again. See?
So saying that Trevor Lawrence, it's not that he's bad. I just think people overvalue a little bit of Trevor Lawrence, in my opinion. Jacksonville is a good team. I'm not here gonna disrespect and saying they're a bad team, but they're not as good as people think, or they being hyped in the media or whatever it is. Because all I see from Jacksonville is like, oh my God, Jacksonville, don't mess with Jacksonville. I think that they have been fortunate. When they have played the better teams, they have struggled. Even to some mediocre teams, they have struggled. I haven't seen them winning convincingly. Now, I believe this is the best defense that they're going to be facing. They have faced all year. And I think the Trevor Lawrence is going to struggle. I think this is a game that he's going to struggle. I'm here with Guru, even though I like teams coming out of from Thursday night. And they did struggle a little bit on Thursday night. They ended up winning, but they ended up winning on the road, right? That's never easy to do on a Thursday night. But there's something about Trevor Lawrence against the pass rusher for the Steelers. And we saw that they look better. And the Steelers did in the second half in that game, or coming out of the bye, or completely on the offensive side. But not only that, I think the formula to beating the Steelers right now, if they're going to keep playing how they are on offense, is you need to go and punch them up quickly, early, build up a lead, and try to sustain it. Well, if you basically are in a 10-point game, a 7-point game throughout the game, Kenny Pickett, for some reason, transforms in the fourth quarter, becomes a better quarterback. I don't know why, but whatever it is, he likes that fourth quarter, and then the magic comes, and then they beat it. And then Jacksonville is not one of those teams that have been able to pull out of a matchup, right? They haven't been able to sustain the lead, to push, and all that. Saying that, I like the Steelers in this game, but I got like them by 6. I think it's going to be also a tight game. But I think that defense will be too much for Trevor Lawrence. The line for this game, by the way, is 2 points, +2 for the Steelers, and the over or under 41, a little bit higher than the Browns. Q, what do you think?
Yeah, it's the Steelers at home. I don't really trust Jacksonville, but I don't know. I feel like Jacksonville gets this one this week. I think Trevor Lawrence is able to put up enough offense there. This is really a toss-up. I don't trust either offense, but I think that Jacksonville is more capable offensively, but I really don't trust their defense. So I'll go with 17-14. No, 17-16. It feels like a 17-16 type game. And I think it'll go to Jacksonville.
Yeah, so like it should be an interesting week for the AFC North talk. There's good matchups throughout. I know the Ravens won. People will think it's a cupcake. Oh, but the other 3 are really tight matchups. We have a super chat from Professor Chaos. I will be at the Bengals Niners game, so eyes on. Shout out to you, man. Enjoy that game. Hope you lost. No, I'm joking. Well, not joking, but enjoy the game. Regardless, enjoy the game.
Remember what Ace said when he went to that don't spend $500 on some merch, dog.
Well, it's in the 49. It's gonna be hard. Although he can suit up before he goes there.
There's be somebody selling Bengals stuff out of pickup truck or something.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, we're coming back on Tuesday, reviewing the matchups. A lot of good matchups in the AFC North talk. Shout out to all of y'all. for coming here. Put in the comment section, what are your score predictions? What do you think is going to happen? And we'll see you next time.
Absolutely.
Peace out.